The text came at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, from my father. Family meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m., our house, mandatory, don't be late. Mandatory. Like I was still a teenager living under his roof instead of a 34-year-old woman with her own life. I texted back, "What's this about?" "Tomorrow. In person." I didn't sleep well that night. Family meetings in my family meant one thing: someone needed money. And since my older sister Victoria was the only one who lived beyond her means, I could guess who. The question was how much, and why they thought it involved me. I arrived at 9 a.m. exactly. My parents' house in the suburbs, the house I grew up in, the house where I'd always been the responsible one, the boring one, the one who made safe choices. Victoria's car was already there, a leased BMW she couldn't afford, next to my practical Toyota that I'd bought used and paid off years ago. My mother opened the door. Her face was tight, stressed. "Thank you for coming." Did I have a choice? There's always a choice, Melissa, but family shows up for family. Inside, my father sat at the dining room table. Victoria sat across from him, red-eyed, like she'd been crying. I sat down. "What's going on?" My father slid a stack of papers across the table. "Your sister has a problem." I looked at the papers. Credit card statements, collection notices, legal documents, page after page of debt. $127,000 in credit card debt, $89,000 in personal loans, $62,000 in retail financing, $18,000 in unpaid taxes, total $296,000. How? I stared at Victoria. How do you owe $300,000? She wiped her eyes. It accumulated, over time. I didn't realize how bad it had gotten. You didn't realize you were spending $300,000 you didn't have? Don't judge her, my mother snapped. She's already struggling. I'm not judging. I'm asking a legitimate question. How does someone accumulate this much debt without noticing? My father answered. She made some poor financial choices, got in over her head. Now creditors are threatening lawsuits, collections. Her credit is destroyed. She could lose everything. What does she have to lose? These papers show she owns nothing. The car is leased. The apartment is rented. What assets does she have? Her future, my mother said. Her ability to rebuild. If she declares bankruptcy, she'll never recover. I looked at the numbers again. $296,000. Almost $300,000 in consumer debt. Why are you showing me this? My father leaned forward. Because you're family. And family helps each other. Victoria needs $300,000 to settle these debts. Pay them off. Start fresh. And where exactly is this $300,000 supposed to come from? Silence. Heavy silence. Then my mother spoke. You have it. We know you do. You've been saving for years, living below your means. You have the money. My stomach dropped. You want me to give Victoria $300,000? Not give, loan. She'll pay you back. With what income? These papers show she makes $65,000 a year and spends $90,000. How will she pay me back? She'll change her spending, get a better job, make it work. But she needs help now. I looked at Victoria. She wouldn't meet my eyes, just stared at her hands. Victoria, do you even want this? Or are Mom and Dad forcing you? I need help, she whispered. I can't do this alone. You created this alone. You can fix it alone. Melissa! My mother's voice was sharp. That's cruel. That's reality. I have savings because I made different choices. I lived in a small apartment, drove an old car, skipped vacations, cooked at home, said no to things I wanted but couldn't afford. Victoria did the opposite. Why should I pay for her choices? Because she's your sister. And I'm her sister. Did she care about that when she was buying designer clothes and taking expensive trips? Did she think about family when she was financing furniture she didn't need? My father stood. We're giving you 7 days to think about it, to decide. Victoria needs an answer by next Sunday. Will you help your sister or not? That's not a fair question. 7 days, Melissa. That's all we're asking. Consider it. Pray about it. Search your conscience. But we need an answer." I looked at the papers again. $296,000, my entire savings, everything I'd worked for, gone. To bail out someone who'd spent recklessly while I'd saved carefully. And if I say no? My mother's face hardened. Then we'll know who you really are, what you really value, and we'll act accordingly. That was 6 days ago. Tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow I give my answer. And my family has no idea what's coming. If you've ever been pressured to bail out a family member's bad decisions, stay with me until the end. Your support means everything to me. Hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments, what would you do in my position? Let's talk about it. Now, back to my story. Let me back up. Explain how we got here, who we are, why this moment was inevitable. My name is Melissa Torres. I'm 34 years old, middle child, software engineer, single, no kids. Living in a modest condo I own outright. Victoria is 37, 3 years older, marketing manager, divorced, no kids, living in a luxury apartment she can't afford. My younger brother Marcus is 29, not part of this story yet, but he will be. Growing up, Victoria was the golden child, beautiful, charismatic, popular, the daughter my parents showed off, the one they bragged about. I was the quiet one, good student, responsible, reliable, the daughter they took for granted. Victoria got into State University on charm, mediocre grades, mediocre SAT, but she interviewed well, impressed admissions, got in. I got into State University on merit, perfect GPA, high SAT, scholarships, honors program, earned my way. My parents threw Victoria a huge graduation party when she finished, invited everyone, celebrated her degree in communications. When I graduated with a degree in computer science, they took me to dinner. Just the four of us. Nice dinner, but not the same. Victoria got a job in marketing, entry level, $45,000 a year. Within 6 months, she was leasing a luxury car. "I need to look successful to be successful," she said. I got a job as a junior developer, $62,000 a year. I kept driving my college car, saved the difference. Victoria moved into an expensive apartment. You have to live in the right neighborhood to network. I lived with roommates in a cheap part of town, saved aggressively, invested, planned for the future. My parents praised Victoria's ambition, her drive, her refusal to settle. They worried about me. "You're too cautious, too careful. You need to take risks, live a little." Living a little meant spending money you didn't have, taking on debt, projecting success. I didn't want that life. I wanted security, stability, the ability to weather storms. When I was 28, I had a down payment saved. Bought a small condo, 1 bedroom, modest, but mine. My parents were disappointed. "Why not rent somewhere nicer, build your lifestyle?" "Because I want to own something, build equity, have security." "You're so boring, Melissa. You're young. You should be having fun." Fun meant debt, meant living paycheck to paycheck, meant looking successful while being broke. I chose different, chose boring, chose building a foundation. Victoria got married at 30. Big wedding, expensive. My parents paid half. The groom's family paid half. Neither Victoria nor her husband contributed. The marriage lasted 3 years, ended in divorce. Expensive divorce, lawyers, settlements, drama. My parents helped pay her legal fees. She's going through so much. She needs support. I was never going through so much, never needed support, because I made different choices. After the divorce, Victoria doubled down. Nicer apartment, newer car, designer clothes, expensive dinners. "I'm reclaiming my life," she said, "investing in myself." Investing in herself meant debt, credit cards, personal loans, retail financing. I watched it happen, said nothing. It wasn't my business. She was an adult, making choices. But I knew. Someday, those choices would have consequences. The week after the family meeting was hell. Constant pressure from all sides. My mother called daily. "Have you thought about it?" "I'm thinking." "Victoria needs an answer. She's drowning. You're her lifeline. I'm not responsible for her drowning. You're family. Family helps. Family also makes responsible choices. Victoria didn't. She made mistakes. We all do. But you have the power to fix this. I have the money, not the power. She has the power to fix this by changing her behavior. Melissa, please, don't be cold. Don't be calculating. Be compassionate. Compassion meant enabling, meant bailing out bad behavior, meant sacrificing my security for her comfort. My father texted, "Your mother is very upset. Victoria is very stressed. This is tearing the family apart. Please consider what matters most." What mattered most was boundaries, consequences, teaching people that actions have results. Victoria herself called, Wednesday night, crying, "Melissa, I'm begging you. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I'm getting calls from collectors every day. I'm drowning." "How did it get this bad, Victoria? Really, explain it to me." "I don't know. It just accumulated. A little here, a little there. Suddenly it was massive." "You had to know. Credit card bills, loan payments. You had to see the numbers." I ignored them. I know that sounds stupid, but I just kept thinking I'd get a raise, a promotion, something that would make it manageable. And when that didn't happen, I took out more credit to pay the minimums, to keep things going. That's not a solution. That's a spiral. I know that now. But then I was just trying to survive. Survive in a luxury apartment with a leased BMW, taking trips to Europe? Silence. "Victoria, you were not surviving. You were living beyond your means, deliberately, consciously, and now you want me to pay for it. I'll pay you back, I promise. Every penny." "How? Your income doesn't cover your expenses even without debt payments. How will you pay me back while also paying your bills?" "I'll change. I'll move to a cheaper place, get a cheaper car, cut expenses." "You should do that anyway, whether I help or not. Those changes aren't payment, they're basic responsibility. Please, Melissa, I'm desperate. I need to think." "What's there to think about? I'm your sister. I need help. You have the money. It's simple." "It's not simple. It's $300,000, my entire savings, everything I've worked for, gone, to fix your mistakes." "You'll rebuild. You're good at saving. You'll have it back in a few years." "And what will you have learned? That reckless spending has no consequences? That you can always count on me to bail you out? That's not fair. None of this is fair. It's not fair that I sacrificed for years while you spent freely. It's not fair that I'm now being pressured to give you everything. It's not fair that saying no makes me the villain." "I never said you're a villain. You don't have to. Mom and Dad are saying it for you." Thursday, my brother Marcus called. He'd been briefed, recruited to the pressure campaign. "Hey, Melissa, heard about Victoria's situation." "Let me guess. You're calling to tell me I should help." "Actually, no. I'm calling to tell you I'm staying out of it." That surprised me. "Really?" "Really. This is between you and them. I'm not getting involved." "Mom and Dad will be furious." "Mom and Dad are always furious about something. I can't control that." "Why are you staying out?" "Because I see what Victoria did. I see what they're asking you to do, and I think it's wrong." "Thank you. But Melissa, I also want you to know, whatever you decide, it'll have consequences. If you say yes, you lose your savings. If you say no, you might lose your family. Make sure you can live with either outcome." "I'm working on it." Friday, my mother showed up at my apartment, unannounced, uninvited. "We need to talk. You could have called. You're avoiding my calls, so I'm here, in person, where you can't hang up." I let her in, offered nothing, just waited. "Melissa, I'm going to be direct. Victoria is suicidal. She called me last night, said she can't take the pressure, the stress. She's thinking about ending it." My blood ran cold. "Is she getting help?" "She needs financial help. That's the help she needs. The stress is killing her." "No, Mom. If she's actually suicidal, she needs professional help, therapy, maybe hospitalization. Money won't fix that. Money will remove the stressor, give her hope, a fresh start. or it'll enable her to continue the same patterns, spend recklessly, accumulate more debt, end up here again in 5 years. You don't know that. I know she's never faced consequences. Every time she's struggled, someone bailed her out. You paid for her wedding, her divorce, her car down payment. When does it stop? When family stops helping family, apparently. Helping isn't the same as enabling. Victoria needs to learn, to change, to take responsibility. She'll die, Melissa. If you don't help, she'll die. Can you live with that? If Victoria dies, it won't be because I didn't give her money. It'll be because she didn't get the mental health help she actually needs. And using suicide as leverage to manipulate me into paying her debts is disgusting. My mother slapped me, across the face, hard. Don't you dare call me disgusting. I'm trying to save my daughter. So am I, just not the way you want. She left. Didn't apologize for hitting me. Didn't acknowledge what she'd said. Just left. Saturday, my father sent an email. Subject: final warning. Melissa, tomorrow is the deadline. We expect an answer. Yes or no. Will you help your sister or abandon her in her time of need? Your response will determine your place in this family going forward. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. Code for say yes or you're disowned. Saturday night, I sat in my condo, alone, thinking, processing, deciding. On my laptop, I pulled up my financial records. Years of careful planning, budgeting, saving. $287,000 in savings accounts and investments. Not quite the $300,000 they needed, but close. I'd saved this money for specific goals. Down payment on a bigger home someday. Emergency fund for job loss or medical crisis. Early retirement. Security. If I gave it to Victoria, those goals disappeared. I'd be starting over, at 34, from zero. But that wasn't the real issue. The real issue was what came next. If I paid Victoria's debt, what would she learn? That consequences aren't real. That big sister will always rescue her. That she can spend without limits because someone will catch her fall. She'd make small changes, temporarily. Move to a slightly cheaper apartment, drive a slightly less expensive car, then slowly, gradually, drift back to old patterns. In 5 years, we'd be here again. Different numbers, same story. And my parents would expect me to bail her out again because I'd established the precedent. I'd shown that I could be pressured, manipulated, guilted into sacrificing my future for her present. If I said no, different consequences. My parents would cut me off. Victoria would hate me. The family would fracture. But Victoria would be forced to face her situation. Bankruptcy, credit counseling, real change. Or not. That would be her choice, her consequences. And I would keep my savings, my security, my future. I opened a spreadsheet, started calculating. Not whether to help, but how to help differently. Option 1, pay the full $300,000, lose everything, enable Victoria, reset the pattern. Option 2, pay nothing, keep everything. Face family consequences, let Victoria hit bottom. Option 3, something else, something they weren't expecting. I worked until 3 a.m., building scenarios, running numbers, creating a plan. By dawn, I had my answer. And it wasn't what anyone expected. Sunday morning, 9 a.m., back at my parents' house. The whole family waiting. My parents at the table, Victoria across from them, Marcus in the corner, neutral, watching. I sat down, placed a folder on the table. I have an answer. My mother leaned forward, hopeful. Thank you. I knew you'd do the right thing. I didn't say yes. I said I have an answer. My father frowned. What's in the folder? My answer. Let me explain. I opened the folder, pulled out documents, spreadsheets, contracts, all prepared, all thought through. I've analyzed Victoria's debt, her income, her expenses, her options, and I've developed a plan. Victoria looked confused. What kind of plan? A plan that addresses the real problem, which isn't lack of money, it's lack of financial discipline. My mother bristled. We're not here for a lecture. You're here for money. I'm offering something better. A solution. If you'll listen. My father nodded. We're listening. I pulled out the first document. Victoria's debt summary. Color-coded. Categorized. Victoria owes $296,000. Here's the breakdown. $127,000 in credit cards at an average 24% interest. That's $30,000 a year in interest alone. $89,000 in personal loans at 15% interest. $62,000 in retail financing at 20%. And $18,000 in unpaid taxes with penalties accruing daily. I spread out the papers. Let them see, really see. If Victoria makes minimum payments, she'll pay over $600,000 total, over 20 years, assuming she takes on no new debt, which her history suggests is unlikely. Victoria paled. 600,000? Interest is powerful. It works for you when you save, against you when you borrow. You've been working against yourself for years. So what's your plan? My father asked. First, acknowledgement. Victoria, do you understand how you got here? I spent too much? Specifically, walk me through it. How did this happen? She looked down, ashamed, angry, cornered. I wanted things, nice things. I saw friends traveling, buying designer clothes, living in nice places. I wanted that too. On $65,000 a year. I thought I'd get promoted, make more. It would even out. But you didn't get promoted. No, I didn't. Why not? I don't know. Victoria, I looked at your LinkedIn. You've been at the same company for 8 years, same title for 6. Why no promotion? She was quiet. Then, they said I wasn't ready, needed more skills, more experience. Did you pursue those skills? Take classes? Get certifications? No, I was busy. Busy spending money you didn't have. Melissa, that's enough, my mother warned. No, it's not, because Victoria needs to understand. She prioritized image over growth, spending over investing in herself, short-term gratification over long-term success. Victoria was crying now. I know, okay? I know I messed up. Are you going to help or just humiliate me? I'm going to help, but not the way you want. I pulled out the second document, my proposal. Here's what I'm offering. I will pay $50,000, not $300,000. $50,000. Specifically, the tax debt and the highest interest credit cards. That eliminates immediate legal threats and reduces interest burden. My mother gasped. That's not enough. Let me finish. In exchange, Victoria enters a debt management program, professional program, with accountability. She consolidates remaining debt, gets on a payment plan she can actually afford, and she makes lifestyle changes, immediately. What changes? Victoria asked. You move to an apartment that costs no more than $1,200 a month. You return the leased BMW and buy a used car for under $10,000 cash. You cancel all subscriptions, all memberships, all unnecessary expenses. You live on a strict budget, and you prove you can do it for 1 full year. A year? A year. If, after 1 year, you've stuck to the budget, made all debt payments, and shown real change, I'll pay another $25,000 toward your remaining debt. Same conditions for year 2. Another $25,000 if you maintain progress. My father was calculating. That's only $100,000 total. She needs 3 times that. She needs discipline, not a blank check. $100,000 from me. The rest she pays herself, over time, while learning to live within her means. Victoria shook her head. That's not enough. I'll still be drowning. You'll be managing. There's a difference. You got into this over years. You get out of it over years, with support, but not a bailout. My mother stood. This is ridiculous. You have the money. Just give it to her. Stop playing games. This isn't a game. This is a lifeline with conditions. Victoria can take it or leave it, but those are my terms. We asked for help, not conditions, not control. You asked for $300,000 with no plan, no accountability, no change. That's not help. That's enabling. Victoria looked at the papers, at the numbers, at the conditions. What if I can't do it? What if I fail? Then you fail, and you deal with bankruptcy, or you figure it out, but you won't have my money to fall back on if you don't change your behavior. You're setting me up to fail. No, I'm giving you a chance to succeed, with support, but not a free pass. My father spoke. And if Victoria refuses, if we refuse, then I pay nothing. Victoria handles her debt herself, and we all move on. You'd really let your sister go bankrupt? I'd really let my sister face the consequences of her choices. Yes. My mother grabbed the papers, tore them up, right there, tore them to pieces. We don't need your conditions. We don't need your judgment. We need your money. And if you're too selfish to give it, then you're not our daughter. I stood up, calm, prepared for this. Then I guess I'm not your daughter, but my offer stands, for Victoria, not for you. If she wants real help with real change, I'm here. If she wants a bailout with no strings, I'm not. I looked at Victoria. You have my number. When you're ready to actually change your life, call me. Until then, good luck. I walked out, left them there, with torn papers, with anger, with disbelief. Marcus followed me outside. That was brutal. That was necessary. They'll never forgive you. They'll never forgive me for saying no either. Might as well say no with purpose. Do you think Victoria will call? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But at least she has a real option. One that doesn't destroy my future to enable her past. He hugged me. For what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. Thanks. I hope so. The fallout was immediate. Brutal. Expected. My mother called that night. You're dead to me. Don't contact me. Don't come to family events. You're not my daughter anymore. My father texted. Your mother is devastated. Victoria is worse. I hope you're happy. Victoria sent a long email, calling me selfish, heartless, cold, calculating, every insult she could think of. I read them all, felt them all, didn't respond. Marcus called. They're telling everyone, extended family, friends, painting you as the villain. Let them. Your reputation is mine to manage. They can say what they want. I know what I did and why. Aunts and uncles are calling me, asking if it's true, if you really refuse to help Victoria. Tell them the truth. I offered help, with conditions. They refused. That's the whole story. They're not telling it that way. They never would. Social media became a battlefield. Cousins posting vague statuses about family who abandons you in crisis. Friends of my mother commenting about ungrateful children. I stayed silent. Didn't defend, didn't engage, just lived my life. Work became my sanctuary. Problems I could solve, code that made sense, logic that was consistent. My boss noticed. Everything okay? Family stuff. Anything I can help with? Not unless you're secretly a therapist. I know a good one, if you need a reference. I took the card, started therapy the next week. 2 months later, Victoria declared bankruptcy. Chapter 7. Complete liquidation. I heard through Marcus. She'd held out, tried to manage, failed, had to file. My mother blamed me. She wouldn't have had to do this if you'd helped, Marcus told me. I didn't respond. The bankruptcy wiped most of Victoria's debt. $250,000 discharged. She was left with the tax debt, $18,000, and destroyed credit. She moved to a cheap apartment, got a used car, cut expenses, not by choice, by necessity. My parents helped where they could, bought her groceries, paid some utilities, propped her up. 3 months post-bankruptcy, Victoria got laid off. Company downsizing, last hired, first fired. She was unemployed for 6 weeks, desperate, struggling. That's when she called me, first time since the meeting. Melissa, I need help. What kind of help? I need money for rent, for food, for basic survival. Have you changed your spending? I had to. Bankruptcy forced me. I'm living on nothing. And your parents? They're helping, but they're tapped out. I need more. What happened to your emergency fund? I never had one, you know that. Right, because you spent everything you made. Melissa, please, I'm begging. I need $2,000 to cover rent. I have job interviews. I'll have income soon. But I need this now. I paused, thought, tested. Send me your current budget. Show me income and expenses. Show me you're actually changing. I don't have time for that. Then you don't need money that badly. Budget or no loan. Your choice. She hung up, angry. 3 days later, she sent a spreadsheet. Detailed budget, every dollar accounted for. Rent, $900. Utilities, $150. Food, $300. Phone, $50. Transportation, $200. Insurance, $100. Loan payments, $300. Total, $2,000. Income, unemployment, $1,600 per month. Deficit, $400. I called her. Your budget is $2,000. Your income is $1,600. Even if I give you money for this month, next month has the same problem. How are you solving that? I'll get a job. When? You've been looking for 6 weeks. What if it's another 6 weeks? Another 6 months? I don't know. Cut your budget. Move somewhere cheaper. Get a roommate. Find ways to reduce that deficit. I'm barely surviving as it is. You're living in an apartment you can't afford. Move somewhere for $600. That solves $300 of the problem. Get a roommate. That's another $200. Now your budget is $1,500. Problem solved. I can't live with a roommate. Why not? I'm 37. I'm too old for roommates. You're too broke to be proud. Roommate or homelessness. Choose. Silence. Then, will you give me the $2,000? No, but I'll make you a deal. Find a cheaper place or get a roommate. Show me the new budget. Show me you've reduced expenses to match income. Then I'll give you first month's rent in the new place, one time, to help you transition, but not to enable you staying somewhere you can't afford. You're impossible. I'm consistent. Change earns help. Staying the same earns nothing. She hung up again. But 2 weeks later, she sent a new budget. Apartment with a roommate. Rent $600. New total $1,500. Within her unemployment income. I sent her $600. First month's rent at the new place. She moved, reluctantly, angrily, but she moved. Month 4, Victoria got a new job, lower pay, $55,000 versus $65,000 before. But it was income. She called to tell me. I got a job. Congratulations. It pays less. That's what happens post-bankruptcy. You rebuild from the bottom. Thanks for the encouragement. You want encouragement? You're employed. You have shelter. You're making ends meet. That's worth celebrating. I'm living with a stranger in a tiny apartment, driving a 15-year-old car, eating ramen. You're living within your means, for the first time in your adult life. Be proud. She was quiet. Then, is this what it was like for you? When you were saving? Yes, for years. This was my normal. It's awful. It's sustainable. That's the difference. Month 6. Victoria was stable, working, paying bills, staying in budget. She called less often. We weren't close, but we were civil. My parents didn't call at all. I was still dead to them. Marcus kept me updated. They're bitter, angry, but they're seeing Victoria change, even if they won't admit it. Good. 1 year after the family meeting, Victoria requested to meet. Coffee shop, neutral territory. I arrived first. Ordered, waited. She came in, thinner, tired, different. Thanks for meeting me. Of course, she ordered, sat down, looked at me. I need to say something. Okay. You were right, about everything. The spending, the debt, the patterns, all of it. I waited. I spent the last year angry, at you, at the bankruptcy, at my life. But somewhere in month 8, something changed. I realized I was actually managing, actually surviving, without debt, without chaos. And it felt stable. That's good. I've been making my payment plan payments every month, on time. I've saved $3,000 in an emergency fund, first time I've ever had savings, and last month I got a raise, small one, but it's something. Victoria, that's amazing. I wanted to tell you and to say thank you for not giving me the money, for making me do this myself. You did this, not me. You gave me the framework, the push, the consequences I needed. You could have taken my original offer, the $50,000 with conditions. I was too proud, too angry, but bankruptcy was the same conditions, just without your money. So I learned the hard way instead of the easier way. Sometimes we need the hard way. I called to ask something. What? Your offer, the one where you'd pay $25,000 after a year of good behavior, does that still stand? Are you asking for the money? No, I'm asking if the offer exists, because I don't need it right now. But knowing it's there, that someone believes in me enough to offer, that matters. The offer stands. Show me another year of stability, another year of growth, and yes, I'll give you $25,000 toward your remaining debt. Thank you. We talked for an hour about her job, her roommate, her budget, her life. It wasn't the relationship we'd had before. That was gone. This was different, more honest, more real. As we left, she hugged me. I'm sorry for what I said, what I asked, all of it. I forgive you. Mom and Dad won't. They're still furious. I know. Do you miss them? Sometimes. But I don't miss the pressure, the manipulation, the expectation that I'd sacrifice my future for everyone else's present. They're not going to change. I know. And that's okay. I've changed. That's what matters. 2 years after the family meeting, Victoria is thriving. New job, better pay, $72,000 a year, fully debt-free except for $8,000 remaining tax debt. She has $15,000 in savings, an emergency fund, retirement contributions, a life built on stability instead of image. She still has the roommate, still drives the old car, but now by choice, because she's learned the value of living below her means. Last month she paid off the final tax debt, completely debt-free. She called me crying. Happy tears. I did it. I'm free. You did it. I'm proud of you. I never could have done this without you saying no, without forcing me to face it. You did it yourself. I just didn't enable the alternative. My parents have never apologized, never acknowledged I was right, never reached out. I've made peace with that. Therapy helped, understanding that I can't control them, only myself. Marcus visits regularly, brings his girlfriend. We have dinners, game nights, family, chosen not obligated. Victoria comes too. We're rebuilding, slowly, on new terms. Last week my mother sent an email, subject, family reunion. We're having a family gathering for the holidays. You're invited. If you choose to come, we'd like to see you. No apology, no acknowledgement, just invitation. After 2 years. I showed Victoria. What do you think? Do you want to go? I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me knows nothing's changed. What would you need to go? Acknowledgement. That what they asked was unreasonable, that my answer was valid, that I'm not the villain in this story. You won't get that. I know. So I'll think about it. I haven't decided yet. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I won't. But here's what I know. 2 years ago, my parents gave me 7 days to pay my sister's $300,000 debt. They expected yes. They demanded yes. They threatened me for anything but yes. My answer shocked them, angered them, cost me my family relationships. But it saved Victoria, forced her to change, to grow, to become someone who could actually manage her life. And it saved me, kept my savings, my security, my future. Was it worth it? Losing my parents? The anger? The isolation? Yes, because the alternative was losing myself, becoming someone who could be manipulated, controlled, forced to sacrifice everything for someone else's mistakes. I chose myself, and Victoria, ironically, benefited most. My parents wanted me to pay $300,000 to bail out my sister. Instead, I paid $600 for her first month's rent in an affordable apartment, and she built a life from there. My answer shocked them, but it saved us both. Thank you so much for watching. This was a long story, but sometimes the important ones are. If this touched your heart, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support means everything. And let me know in the comments, have you ever had to set boundaries with family around money? How did it go? Share your stories. I read every comment. Each one matters to me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. See you next time.